no mai hoki mai ki te Flood the Next podcast. So welcome everyone to the Flood the Next podcast. I'm Alex in Te Whanganui Atara. Aaron is in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, and we've also got Danny and Jeremy in Gadigal, Sydney. And we are here on the day after a resounding semi-final victory against Brisbane Roar at Porirua Park, which marks the first time the club in history has qualified for a grand final. So the entire club is peaking at the moment, and what a game it was yesterday. We're here to review that game and preview the upcoming grand final against Melbourne City, which we're all very nervous and excited for at the same time. So it was a 2-0 win for us on the day, which made it 3-1 on aggregate after the 2-1 win by Brisbane Roar in the first leg. Michaela Woods with 2 goals, the first in the second minute. Brilliant ball over from Pierre Vlock, kind of splits the defence, threads the needle for Michaela Woods, who tucks it in. And then in the 102nd minute in extra time, a deep cross from Brooke Nunn, the Brisbane defender totally misses the ball and ends up being a tap-in for Michaela Woods. And that was the goal that did it for us. It was quite a slow start to the game, I thought both coaches kind of wanted to rectify the abysmal passing accuracy in the previous game, which actually happened to be quite low, but I think it was a little less obvious this game because both teams were kind of getting the easy passes right, and the ones that weren't working out with the passes that you wouldn't actually expect to work out anyway. Both teams were trying quite a few low percentage balls. I think which won the game for us was our defence and our ability to kind of deal with those low percentage balls over the top. Both teams were kind of getting pummeled with a lot of those all game. The ones that you're kind of looking up and wondering what you're looking at because the sun's in your eyes. I think we managed to deal with those quite well. Mackenzie Barry was stout in defence, had some great headers away, and both defences kind of stood resolute through normal time and had to be switched on all game. But then in the last 10 minutes we kind of started to get a little bit of momentum and we kept going, and Michaela Woods had a few chances which we'll talk about later, but I'll move over to one of you guys.
So, yeah, I mean, what a result. It's quite hard to talk about the game without sort of taking away the emotion of just the fact that, yeah, fucking hell, we won. We're in the grand final. And actually sort of analysing the game and how it went almost seems irrelevant in a way to the result. It's one of those games where the result was the most important. But I thought we played really well compared to the previous game where Brisbane were by far the better side and we were probably quite happy to come away with just a 2-1 loss. We seemed to approach this game so well. We kept calm. We didn't panic from the off. We didn't sort of throw everything at them straight away. We took our time and took a while, as you said, Alex, took a while to get our passing game together. But once we did, Brisbane couldn't answer to that. Certainly in the first game and sort of probably in the first half of the first half here, they feed off their second balls, off the 50-50s, slight bit of chaos. That seems to be where they're at their best. And we're better when we can start passing the ball and getting it across to our danger players, Brooke Nunn on the wing, Peter Vlock, into space up front for Woods. And it took us a while to get that going. But once we did, there was only one team that was going to win that game. Brisbane just couldn't deal with it, it was good. But it took us a while to do that. So it was scrappy and a bit nervy, I think, in the beginning of the first half, and it took us a while to get into our rhythm. Having Pia Vlock back was great because she just gives us that much another outlet, and she doesn't have to pass because she can just do it all herself. So even if the passes are going straight, it doesn't really matter for her because she can just run past people. And we did manage to bring Brooke Nunn into the game a lot more than we did in the previous game. And she's just so dangerous because again, 1-on-1, even if your pass is not going, she's going to go past someone and she's going to put the ball in a dangerous place. And we can see that Michaela Woods will put them away. You give her enough chances. Actually, not even that many chances. I'm being a bit harsh, but you give her chances, she'll score goals. So I thought it was an excellent performance by everyone. I couldn't really pin someone out to be a player of the match, and if I had to pick out someone, I'd probably pick out Beth Priestman, just in terms of the way she set the team up, got them into the right headspace to play, and to play our own game, not to panic, and just believe in the process, which we did, and in the end, the process won, and we're going to the grand final. So, very happy days.
Yeah, I think there was a team that stuck to the game plan. You could just see that they were trying to play the way that the Phoenix wanted to play and not give in to this raw ball that happened last time we played them, and it did work out for us. I thought last week that month break was a bit of a downfall for us, but it actually turns out that it was actually good to have that extra week off, because you could see that the raw players were struggling. They were cramping, they had injuries, they were taking off basically their whole starting lineup and replacing them with their quite young bench. And you could see that as soon as Momo came off, they were struggling, and then they had to take Tamiki Yallop off as well. And, they basically didn't have anything left in the tank at that point. And so ultimately, I think it was a bad day to be a raw captain that day. Those two going off injured, and then Angie Baird absolutely missing that shot to get Michaela Wood's second goal. But yeah, just a more well-rounded performance. I think that, everyone played a pretty solid game. Mania Elliott was just absolutely bossing it down that wing. She back and forth that whole game. Emma Pynenberg had one of her better games for us as well. She was just solid. She was playing the right ball. She was turning when she needed to turn. And I think her and Jale just have found this rhythm that we needed in that midfield to actually own that midfield, which I think we've lost a couple times this season when we kind of get outplayed there. So I'm glad we found it for this game. And yeah, I'm glad we got the win, because how exciting is it that we get to go to a grand final? I think one stat that I did see that was interesting is that the aerial duels in this game compared to last game, it went up from 17 to 46. So I'm not sure if that was a purposeful tactic, but you have Momo and Angie Baird, who are 5'4" and 5'3" in the middle of the park, and then they're coming up against Grace Jale and Pia Block, who are both 5'10". You'd think that aerial balls would be ours most of the time, and so it's interesting that tactic now has, I'm not sure if it was on purpose, but it's come through for the second game, and I think you can see it as well. Grace Jale was winning everything that was in the air. She was behind people, winning it above their heads, and so I think that helped us to kind of keep the ball even when we lost it. If we had a play up top that went wrong, Grace Jale was there to kind of come through and clean it up, which wasn't happening last game, which is why that they could keep attacking us relentlessly, but we found a way to kind of stop them before they had the chance to do that. But yeah, overall, good to get the win. Was it perfect? No, but it doesn't matter. It got us there, and now we get to play Melbourne City.
Yeah, I thought it was a much improved performance compared to last week for sure. I think we looked a lot better. We looked, as you guys have said, we looked in control. We didn't ever look rushed. You felt that the team had confidence that it was going to happen and that they didn't need to force it. It would happen at some point. And I think, yeah, really, the first goal for us was kind of a bit of a turning point, I think. Well, obviously. But up until that point, I feel Brisbane had they were kind of a bit measured with their attacks. Like, they were definitely still attacking, but they weren't putting everything into it if it was going to expose frailties at the back, I think. And so they were more wanting to get us on the counter a bit there, and also put in some heavy tackles when we would get the ball back off them, which, I recall it was a foul on Jale in that first half that needed a card, but I think the ref just didn't want to, was obviously a bit nervous to give out cards too early, maybe, not wanting to make or have some sort of thing like that make the game change completely. But yeah, essentially, once we got that first goal, Brisbane sort of had to go for it a bit more. Like, they couldn't just wait for moments to attack. They kind of had to push for it because they weren't getting out of the tie without getting another goal, essentially. And I think that for us helped quite a bit, that we were then starting to find more space up front at that point. Also, yeah, I just want to say, Block's pass for that first goal was so good. It's just the vision. She's been amazing all season, and it's crazy to think that, her first game for us when she came in earlier this season was, she's never looked out of place. For such a young player, she came straight in. You could tell she was at the level straight away. within a matter of weeks of her coming into the team, she was, you know, known around the league as probably being one of the most dangerous players and the one to watch out for. And she was the one getting marked by all the best players and stuff. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome for one thing. And yeah, like essentially once we got that goal, I sort of felt it was going to happen for us. Just due to the way we were playing and that confidence we had, it just felt like they knew it was going to happen. And unfortunately, like it took a lot longer to happen than we'd hoped. We had great chances, Woods missing a few of them. But I think a really good thing about Michaela Woods is I feel like she can forget the misses pretty quickly. Like as soon as she's missed one, she backs herself to get the next one. And I think that's quite a trait in a striker, is that like as soon as one chance is gone, you feel like she's like, okay, I'm going to get the next one. And she never lets it get to her a bit. And so in those sorts of situations, you think, oh, she's going to get it eventually. And I mean, it didn't take too long, and what a way to do it as well, really. Yeah, and also, as you were saying, I think with Tamika Yallop and Hayashi going off for the Raw, I think that really took a lot out of them, especially, I mean, Hayashi's the one player that, for them, she's willing to take shots from anywhere. And so in those like dying minutes of the 90 or the extra time, if she was on there, she's the sort of player you'd be worried about getting the ball and just hitting one from somewhere and suddenly ruining our day. But without them on there, you could sort of feel that they no longer had what it takes. And yeah, they were looking pretty tired out there. So yeah, what a result though, eh? Great result.
Yeah, I think the thing about Michaela Woods missing chances is interesting because I remember the last game before the final series against Brisbane, the one at Sky Stadium, or Henry Stadium now. Michaela Woods also actually missed a few chances in that game, and she also ended up scoring eventually. So, you know, I think maybe kind of missing those chances kind of spurs her on. And you could also see, you know, the camaraderie in the team. Everyone was getting behind her after those misses in the last 10 minutes, which I want to talk about because I think that is the most dominant spell I've ever seen this team have. You know, Brisbane's defence were pretty good throughout most of the game, and then it just seemed in that last 10 minutes they got too tired and they basically couldn't deal with us. Every time we ventured into the final third and we got a good chance out of it, Michaela Woods just had heads on strings, which I think is down to her pace. I think we were trying lots of balls over the top, and you know, 9 times out of 10 she was faster than their defence, which I think suited her quite a lot against this Brisbane team. And you could see that once we had Mackenzie Anthony on, you know, it wasn't really the same. She got a chance basically in the last minute that she got outpaced by. Just thinking, you know, Michaela Woods would have that and should eat that right up. But yeah, she, you know, when she missed that last chance in normal time, she hit the post. In stoppage time, you know, I was just asking the question, are we doomed to fail? Because, you know, I couldn't really see us getting back into the game after that because, you know, we had the stoppage, and you just thought that all of our momentum was going to go out the window with that. But luckily we kept it up and we kept pummeling them in extra time.
Yeah, that last minute chance with the last kick of normal time, 95 and 59 seconds with for Michaela Woods, it just seemed to be, it's the narrative only goes two ways, right? It's either the winner, which is amazing, or she misses it, we go out and she regrets it for the rest of her life, and we always remember that miss. That's just, there's only two ways it works, right? Or maybe not. Maybe there's another way which happened. But that's the way I was thinking when she missed that. It's like, okay, maybe we're not going to win this, you know. Fates, gods, whatever against us. And you could see how devastating she was at it. She was in tears, and Leon was across straight away, and the whole team was across against him. So it does show such a strength of character that she was devastated. She knows the narrative as well. She knew that was probably our chance to win, and she'd blown it, and that's her job. And it was actually a really good save by the keeper, but still should have scored it. But then to come back and to carry on the running that she did, and to keep going and put herself in the positions so that she scored that second goal, because I don't think she knew a huge amount about it, to be honest. It sort of came off her leg, but, you know, she put herself in the position that if Brisbane made a mistake, it was going to cause them problems. So that's what she did, and she scored. And yeah, so happy for her. and for us, obviously. And I think Mackenzie Anthony coming on was, for that dominant period, you were saying, she came on and she just ran and ran and ran, and Michaela Woods never stops running. And I think Brisbane were probably thinking, okay, we're in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, things are going to slow down, and it didn't. It actually sped up for them. And I think they really struggled just to deal with just the all-round energy at the top there. And then you've got Brooke Nunn, who's shooting from distance and putting balls in from a distance. So you can't leave that. You can't just sit around your box as well. You've got to get out to attack her. So that's more movement as well. So just the overall fitness and the energy at the end there, I think just overwhelmed them at the end, And as I said, they were just trusting in the process that it was going to happen. And I sort of believed it was going to happen, but, still incredibly nervous. And when Michaela would miss that, I probably did think, okay, this is it. It's going to go to penalties and we're going to lose. And we're going to look back on that chance and it's always going to be that chance. But thankfully, the gods looked on us with favour.
Yeah, Michaela Woods as well. I'm pretty sure that she got pretty beaten up when she scored that first goal. She collided into Chloe Lincoln and she ran that off. And then later on in the game, she gets bodied by Momo, I think, and lands on her lower back. And she's limping around after that. And then I think by the time she's eventually subbed off at the 105th minute, she's just, you can see that her body's just so sore. She's waddling over to the sideline, basically in tears. Probably, they said in the comments either the emotions of the game and also probably just the pain of getting beaten up that whole game. But the fact that, she kept fighting, she was running until that 105th minute to get those goals, to just kind of be a presence in the area to put the Raw under pressure, because I mean they have the worst defensive record in the league and they have that for a reason, and I think we saw why they have that as well. Lost the plot a little bit, I think. As soon as they had the pressure to chase the game, they had no clue what they were doing back there. They didn't know who to mark. Brooke Nunn would be unmarked. If they went to her, Grace Jale would be unmarked. If they went to her, Ellie Walker was free to run up there and put a cross in. At the end of the game there, we just kind of had them. We had them for toast, really. I don't think that they could have handled us. And as I was saying, I think we had the stronger bench. You kind of subbing off. You're subbing off your midfielder, and you look up and you see Macy Fraser coming on. I'd be scared. I'd be like, oh gosh, let's not give away any free kicks because we know they're going top bins. I think it was good squad rotation to kind of keep our team on who are playing well, and not bring anyone on too early who's going to kind of disrupt the flow of what was happening. I think the subs that we made were necessary in the moment for what the game needed. I think we got that wrong in the first leg, but yeah, I think this game was just chalk and cheese better. It is well managed. The players were up for it, and you can tell that this is a team that wants to win. And I'd kind of be scared if I was coming against them because they're the underdogs now, and I feel like the whole league will be backing us against Melbourne City.
Yeah, that latter part of the game, our dominance was quite impressive to watch. I think, each shot we'd have, I'd just be so disappointed. I'd be like, oh, we're going to get another chance this good. But those chances kept coming. We kept creating them, which was great to see. And yeah, you could just see Brisbane slowing down. They just couldn't. They were kind of wrecked by that point, I think. And we kind of looked quite fresh at times, I thought, despite how long the game had been going, how much we'd been fouled at times and sort of been in the wars a bit there. Looking so fresh was at that late stage was pretty cool. And yeah, when we did finally get that goal, sort of almost out of nowhere there, really, it was a pretty awesome feeling. And sort of you're like, okay, yeah, you could breathe a slight sigh of relief and be like, okay, it's going to happen now, finally. But then, you still have that whole second half of extra time. It's knockout football. Like, it takes one tiny moment to screw that over. And so I think my heart would have appreciated another goal. But who cares? We did it. We won. We're in the grand final. That's all that really matters, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the question is going to change from where were you for Oscar Zavada's equaliser to Where were you for Michaela Wood's winner? I think we'll talk about the grand final now against Melbourne City at Amy Park on the 16th of May, 4 p.m. Australian time and 6 p.m. New Zealand time. There's a fair few of us going over from New Zealand, and hopefully we'll get some of the picnics there as well. Thoughts?
Going to be really tough. Melbourne City, obviously, I think they are probably the best side in the league. And then we're not going to be able to dominate them the way we dominated Brisbane, I think, in that second half. On the other hand, they're a passing team as well a little bit, so they're sort of a bit more like us. So if we manage to get on the ball and create stuff, we can score goals. We know that. We're scorers. And certainly I don't have any problems with the mentality of the team. I think they'll go out to win. So I think they'll be quite hard to predict. You would think that we've probably got a little bit more momentum than Melbourne City. They beat Victory in their games reasonably comfortably. They didn't have to do too much. We've come off being a goal down, coming back, stonking win. I think they're going to be really up for it. I think we have the better coach, so I think she'll be able to prepare them better than the Melbourne City coach, so that'll do well. But to call it, it's going to be difficult. I think we deserve it. We'll probably have as many fans as they will there. So, yeah, I don't know. I just want us to win so much. But I could see Melbourne City doing it because I said they're a good side. And I think where it will be won is in our midfield. I still think, although we did very well against Brisbane, they're still, I think, are probably our soft belly, if you like. Our defence is awesome. They've been great all season. And we know we've got the people up front who can really hurt an opposition. But we haven't had many games where we've really dominated a game that's played out in the midfield there. Jale has played really well, and Pijnenberg's distribution is really good, but we tend to be quite narrow in that midfield because Nunn plays out wide and Elliott plays out wide as well. They don't often sort of tuck in. We do play quite expansive. So if the opposition have three decent midfielders coming through that middle, we can often get outnumbered or outfought, and that can be an issue. So if I was Melbourne City, that's probably where I'm targeting us, in the middle there, to try and overload us in the middle. It'll be interesting to see what Bev does. I can't really see a change in the team. I think she'll probably keep it as it is. But whether she tries to get Brooke Nunn to keep back a bit, or maybe Elliott to stay back a bit and drop into the middle, yeah, possibly. But too close to call, I think, in terms of result. I think we have I think we have the emotion behind us. They maybe have a slight edge in quality over the team line.
Yeah, well, we don't have a good track record against Melbourne City. I think the two games we've played against them this season have been pretty close. We've only lost by one goal, and I think we only had Michaela Woods on for 45 minutes of those two games. And so I'd probably like to think that we're a different team to when we played them earlier in the season. I think we lost one of them because it was a set piece and someone didn't track a player and they basically had a free head. And can't really remember the other game, but it's probably a bullshit call or something from the ref. I'm just going to go with that.
Rebecca stopped being a traitor and scoring in the 86th minute.
Yeah, so that was the 1-0. But yeah, we had the second one. We had Michaela Woods come on, and I think that she scored a late goal against them, which was good. But yeah, so we've never got a point from Melbourne City before, but I don't think that it's a write-off. I think we have a good chance. I think if we pressure them high, they do panic a little bit. They're kind of used to playing it around the back and being patient and waiting for it. But the times where I've seen us press high against them and get in fast is when they tend to cough it up a bit. And if we have everyone up there, then I think that we have the quality to, if we win it high, to be able to capitalize on that chance. But it's also a game where we have to be capitalizing on these chances. I don't think missing half of the big chances you get will work as well as it did against Brisbane Roar. So if we get a chance, we need to take it and get on the board early. We don't want to be chasing this game, that's for sure.
I trust that Bev has a plan for us, and that she'll have an idea of what she expects Melbourne City to be doing, and will be essentially all the training sessions this week, and that will be geared very much towards it. It's not like we have another game a week later that also needs to be in the back of mind, so I can sort of put everything in on this, obviously. I think we have a chance. It's obviously going to be hard. It's going to be our hardest test. But, yeah, I don't honestly remember too much about our home game against Melbourne City this year, but the away game, I recall we very much dominated them most of the game there. And I think possibly their one goal was their only shot they had all game, possibly. We do know, so we have shown that for large periods we can very much shut them down and stuff. And as you say, we're probably a bit of a better, different team than we were then. I think I feel like that was quite early on in the season, actually. And so I think our players know each other a lot better now. I expect that, also, let's be honest, Melbourne City, the women's team don't play that often at Amy Park. They've only played 2 or 3 times there this season. So the occasion of this big stadium and stuff is going to be kind of newish to them for this season, at least. It's not like a fortress they've been at all season. So we won't be going in there too different from them on that, I think. But yeah, I think why not? Like, it's one game. It's our 100th ever game. It's the grand final. Might as well make it the first time we beat them as well. We should have a good amount of fans there. It's going to be cool. I think. We kind of deserve a good day out. I think all the fans deserve this to just soak. We should just soak it in, enjoy the day, hope for the best. But we've made the grand final. It's something we've never done before. It's history already. Let's go create a bit more, eh?
Yeah, I agree with you guys on the point that we've evolved a lot since the previous times we faced them, but at the same time, I think we'll struggle. As good as we were against Brisbane, we were one-dimensional, and pretty much every chance we had was where Brisbane failed to deal with the pace of Michaela Woods. I think City know how to stop that. They've got a miles better defence than Brisbane. We've never taken a point off them. Not to say we can't do that, but to get something out of this game, I think we got to show that we're capable of scoring goals without having to rely on those long balls behind. And as you said, Danny, win the midfield. I think we got to pack the midfield and kind of overload there to have a chance at winning, at beating City in that area. And I think whoever wins the midfield will likely win the game. I think Michaela Woods actually did really well at winning those duels in the midfield and kind of creating something for Michaela Woods to run onto. I think it would be great if we could get Mackenzie Anthony contributing meaningfully a lot in this game. But the other question is, who do you get her in for? You can't really take out Michaela Woods. And there's no one really else you can get her in for. But we gotta pack the midfield and can consolidate a lot of our efforts in that area of the pitch.
Without jinxing it, it kind of seems like Melbourne City are a little bit of chokers in finals, to be honest. For how dominant they've been in the league recently, they don't really have the championship to show for it. So I'm taking that as the pressure's all on them. They're the ones who have something to prove here. We're just going to go there and nix it up and just kind of, I think, probably create a little bit of chaos. The Knicks girls are ready for it. I can see it. They're ready to go. And they just know that, this is the chance to do it. And I think that we're going to see a Phoenix team that we probably haven't seen this season in a good way. I think Melbourne City are in for a shock.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think we will be better prepared, and I think we'll want it more. I think we've got a better coach because we've probably got the best coach in the league. She's just really good. So she played in big games. She's played in finals of much bigger tournaments than this. And so she'll know how to prepare the team. She'll know how to get them up. And you've seen them. They want to win, and they're very much a together side. It's really impressive to see them, when they do win, how they win together. So that's very much in our favour. And so, that's something which, we can take in and maybe overcome the fact, as I say, they've probably got a slightly higher quality side all over. One thing which we haven't mentioned, which I think we should do is a semi-final, is, the crowd on the set up of Porirua Park. I wasn't there, but it looked amazing. It sounded good. 6,000 people, so the highest crowd we've ever had for a women's game. Even for double headers at the stadium, and just really impressed with what the club have done with that. It looked really good. It'd be so nice to be able to carry that on. We're not probably going to get 6,000 for the next game, but if we could just get 3,000-4,000 at games. That's way more than most teams in the league are getting, and it looked so great on the TV in terms of the ground. The atmosphere looked really impressive, and I think the club needs to accept a bit of credit for that. They've done a really good job.
All right, well, that's a great note to end on. Thank you so much, guys, for listening and supporting us throughout the season. We'll be back next week with a review of the game and season review after that. Hopefully it'll be great news. But thank you so much for listening or watching. Make sure to subscribe, follow, whatever. And see you guys later.